Greetings, I'm Dave Gilmore, and this is Design Intelligence. Posturing as a leader can sometimes be a confusing exercise. How does one position themselves in any given situation? What's the most effective manner to operate given the myriad occurrences of leadership one is faced with day after day? These questions have been the subject of heightened dialogue among both academic and professional thought leaders for decades. Perhaps being overly simplistic, let me offer 3 distinct postures for us to consider. I hope this will be clarifying and not confusing, directional, not ambiguous. Firstly, let's explore the posture of being out front in leadership. Front-postured leadership takes the lead, sets the course, and inspires forward-moving action. It's the posture most associated with leadership. People will default to look forward when searching for the leader in a crowd. After all, doesn't leading always mean being in front so that others will follow? Doesn't that just seem, obvious? The front leader is critically postured to ensure clarity of direction, focused mission, and unquestioned accountability. The front leader is unmistakably leading, or so we would think, since that's the posture they've adopted. I personally have known, interacted with, and observed leaders who have permanently placed themselves in a front leadership posture. They define leadership as out front, dominant, elevated, clearly viewable, and authoritative. They've never contemplated any other posture or expression of leadership simply because their definitions don't encompass leadership any other way. This is natural, yet narrowly myopic, leaving no room for perhaps more effective postures, expressions, and relationships. So perhaps the dynamic of leading and following is not defined as a relationship of one entity physically positioned in front of another, and the following entity physically positioned behind the other. Perhaps the idea of leading and following ascends to a level, a dynamic unrelated to physicality operating in a spatial context. The hierarchical design from pen to page of traditional organizational charts reinforces the front leadership posture, and so it's commonly understood that leadership is on top, elevated, out front, and dominant. Perhaps leading is better understood as a way rather than an act. Perhaps our perspective is distorted, needing a new lens to view the reality of dynamically effective, sustainably successful leadership. Perhaps. In our next Lessons in Leadership podcast, we'll explore another posture often promoted as the better posture for leaders to adopt. Hope all of this is making sense to you. We'll talk more about this later. What kind of leader are you? Until next time, I'm Dave Gilmore, and this is Design Intelligence.